Today we got a super exciting tweet from the developers of Call of Duty talking about the future of Warzone 2.0 with Season 2, including resurgence, new looting, new loadouts, a new map. I'm extremely excited to talk about this in today's video, so that's what we're covering today. There is no gameplay to this, so if you're here for gameplay, I'm sorry, we are just talking, but if you want to listen to me rant, that's what this video is good for. Also, at the end of this video, I got a teaser trailer for the merch that is dropping. We have a collaboration with Fuel Injected Co. For some really cool merch, so if you want a hoodie, a t-shirt, hats, whatever, it is there. I'm gonna link that in the description down below, and the video is at the promo video for the merch is at the end of the video, okay? If you're new to the channel, enjoy the content, man, hit that sub button, press that like button, gang. Let's get right into it. Alright gang, the following message says Season 2 will be launching on February 15th, which is delayed. It was hinted that it would be February 1st. It says our studio teams have been making several changes based on what we have heard from our player community. Season 2 includes all new content with the return of Resurgence and a brand new small map for Warzone 2.0. Rank play is also back and coming to MW2, along with new multiplayer maps, new modes, weapons, and much more. Stay tuned for additional intel. So, what we get from all of this, which this actually didn't have. With all this being said, what we do know that has been discussed so far, they have talked about there are going to be changes to loadout drops. There's also going to be changes to looting in a whole. With the new Resurgence map, I wonder what we plan to see in terms of how big the map's going to be. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be closer to Fortune's Keep than Rebirth Island. But here's what's getting me about this whole situation. We see, based on what we've heard from the community, our player community, they're throwing this card out that they're listening, which is amazing. If that's the case, like, let's go. That's what we needed. The community has been speaking. Hopefully they are listening. But we have big problems. Right now, the TTK is extremely fast in this game. Base health, I believe, is 150. We need to add 50 to that. Previous Warzone was at 250, so even if we could go up to 200, that'd be great. If we can't actually reduce the TTK in this game, let's just take down some of the headshot multipliers, because absolutely headshots are broken. Like, you absolutely fry. If you hit one headshot in your spray, you are going to fry out. Which, don't get me wrong, in the last Warzone, if you were hitting headshots, you were frying, but this is different. You don't have a fighting chance in this game, which for a lower tier player, I feel like would be more frustrating. How's the casual gamer gonna play this game if they can't actually get through an entire match because they're getting absolutely deleted by sweaty nerds like me? You know, it's not a feasible option, I think, just as a community in a whole. But on the topic of the loadouts and the looting, so when it comes to loadouts, obviously what made Warzone 1 just the game it was the fact you could drop in, you could get your loadout off the rip, you could land Superstore, get a couple kills, have your loadout, and be ready to go just off the cuff, just absolutely instantaneously. Now, the biggest thing with this, though, we're still missing the factor of UAVs. Even if we get loadouts back, let's say we get a 10,000 loadout, which it would be the most ideal thing this game could do. I kind of don't like the idea of just being able to buy individual guns. I know they reduced the price of it, but you gotta have your perks. The point of playing Call of Duty is to have your guns and your perks, for me at least. If I wanted to play something a little more different, maybe I'd play PUBG or a game that had a little more RNG, no perks, just guns. Call of Duty, you need your perks and your guns. So loadouts were huge, but UAVs are even bigger. Being able to get your loadout and start popping UAVs and keeping a rotation of UAVs going is huge. So with this new update, I'm very curious to see if we will actually see UAVs coming with an unlimited buy rate. It only makes sense to me that they do that. It makes the gameplay too slow. You want to be able to cruise around the map and enjoy yourself. The more action you get in the game, the more intense it feels, and honestly, the more satisfying the win. Even if you're not a content creator, a big streamer, you're the casual gamer, when you win that match, you don't want to say, yeah, we laid in the bush for 23 minutes and then the final zone finally hit us and we spent the last 2 minutes in a crazy gunfight. That's okay, but it's not as rewarding as saying, man, we fought the entire match, there were people all over us, and we came out victorious. That's what makes a dub absolutely great. I don't know, I think we're missing the mark, but and a lot of things, but this game really is only a couple updates away from being a masterpiece. I really think this game has a ton of potential. I love the map, I love the guns. I just don't like how slow it is and how clunky it feels. The movement's another thing. You can call me crazy, but if you go play DMZ, if you are a casual Warzone player, you play Warzone all the time, it doesn't matter. Go over to DMZ and tell me that I'm crazy, that the movement is not smoother. I'm telling you it is. The movement is more fluent and it is so much smoother. Whether or not it's because you have double time, you know, in DMZ you always have double time. That could be part of the problem. But I hate how clunky Warzone feels. It feels like I'm playing Battlefield, which honestly, that was my biggest setback from that whole franchise, that series of games. So clunky the movement was. I like playing COD where you can run around, jump around, slide around. That's what makes this game fun. It's that movement. It gives it that arcadey feel. That's a good COD feels arcadey. It doesn't feel super hyper realistic. When a Call of Duty gets too realistic, they tank. And you can look at all the Call of Duties in the past that really did well and that didn't do well. And I'm telling you, the arcadey Call of Duties did so much better than any other. Ghost is one of the most hated Call of Duties, and it was like a take it realism. World War II was a tank it realism. Vanguard was a take it realism. Cold War, so a take it realism, but not too much. But when you look back in time at like MW2, they tried to do their best take it realism, but obviously they weren't well equipped for it. Made it successful. The original Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 3, all of these games were very arcade like. We need to get that back to Call of Duty, and I definitely think that comes with movement. If you're moving around clunky and slow, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. You're taking away from what makes the game special, and that's the ability to really just have fun and enjoy yourself. I feel like the slower they make the movement, the slower the game's gonna run, and the slower the game's gonna run, the more boring it gets, and that's when you start to see these big declines in players. Another thing I gotta bring up when it comes to Warzone and looting Warzone 2 is looting, is what I was trying to say. The looting is horrible. Like it really is frustrating. The backpack system, I kind of understand. It's kind of like it's like Blackout. If you played Blackout, which was Black Ops 4's Battle Royale, it was a lot of fun. You had backpacks, and obviously in Warzone 2 you have backpacks. I'm not the biggest fan of the backpack system personally. I don't like the fact that you can carry, you know, 5 self-revives or 5 precision, whatever you want to carry. You can carry way too much stuff. You're just adding more elements of the game that can just ultimately make it more ratty, which it could lead to more camping, more people sitting on ridges, whatever the case may be. People are carrying, you know, tons of claymores, tons of proximity mines, whatever, and they're loading buildings down with it. That's not cool, you know. We got to get rid of that. I don't know if what they're planning to do with this game. I highly doubt backpacks will go away. If backpacks are to stay though, one thing that is broken with the looting system with backpacks, if you kill someone with a large backpack, you can't pick it up. That's broken. You got to be able to at least pick up the better tier loot. You know, you killed the player, you earned the loot, but you can't take it. That's frustrating. Another thing's how loot stacks. In this game, all the loot lays flat on the ground, but in the first Warzone, everything was floating, which was great. And if you never noticed this, in Warzone 1, if you shot someone from the roof of a building, whatever, you could really see it. When the player dropped their loot, it dropped in a perfect circle. So everything had its spot, everything was well distributed around the players, so it was very simple to grab loot. It wasn't this whole hassle of oh, I need bullets, but every time I go to pick up bullets, I'm picking up someone's pistol or someone's secondary, or I'm picking up another vest. They gotta make the loot standing so you can actually tell what's going on. Which, speaking of vests, that leads me to a whole nother issue. I could go on and on. When it comes to vests, I think 3-plate vests are silly. Everybody needs to spawn with 3-plate slot options, 100%. 2 plates equipped with minus the 1 plate. You got to find your 3rd plate. That's exactly how Warzone 1 did it. That's a very fair and balanced system. Now, maybe they drop a new perk, kind of like Tempered, that could work. Or I was peeking over at Modern Warzone's stream, and he was talking about a tempered vest, and I honestly think that's a very clutch idea. When it comes to a tempered vest, essentially it's a very rare vest you would get in maybe a stronghold, just high tier loot, maybe completing a contract, whatever. You put the vest on and it acts as tempered, which is an amazing idea. But the whole thought of having to find 3-plate vests and knowing that you're going to be down in a fight because you didn't find a loot item, it's pretty frustrating. There's plates all over the map, so I don't want to hear the argument of, oh well, you can have a 3-plate and only 2 plates in. That's very, very rare that you ever see that, unless it's in game. That's very rare. There are plates all over the map. If you don't have a 3-plate, you're at a disadvantage from the jump, especially with the TTK. You get fried. It is not worth it. Speaking of the looting though, I think if they were to fix the loot maybe floating, play with the plates a little bit, we'd be cooking. We would be in business. Another thing I think that would really bring life to this game is the Resurgence map. It's coming. I'm excited to see it. I hope it plays a lot like Rebirth. Obviously it's going to be different, especially with the movement. Rebirth was known for the movement kings, the little TikTok demons who were just sliding, breaking cameras. That's all they wanted to do all day. But I think Rebirth might actually bring back a lot of life to this game. I know personally I was never a Rebirth fan until the end of Call of Duty, and then I fell in love with it. The end of Warzone 1, I fell in love with Rebirth, and it was honestly my favorite thing to play. So you'll probably see a lot of Resurgence content on this channel until we get pacing figured out with Al Mazrah. As of right now, I'm probably going to play the smaller maps. I'm not a huge fan of the slow-paced game, not being able to find UAVs, people hiding in all these little towns and these villages and buildings because they're loaded down with claymores and precisions. They know they don't have to move. We got to get that fixed. There's also a lack of currency on the map. Let's get rid of the 100 grab. Grabbing $100 off the ground if it's not off a player is ridiculous. Like getting $100 out of a crate is not worth it. Make it like 300 or 500. It's got to be something relative, because if you're not getting money, like the loadout drops being 32,000, how do you expect us to get a $32,000 loadout before the second ring from a stronghold before the actual loadout drops? It's a double entendre. It's not going to happen unless you hit 2 strongholds or you just get super lucky in a stronghold before the second ring. Just chalk that up an L. It just doesn't make sense to me. They're really pushing this whole AI and stronghold and DMZ feel. You can definitely tell the game was catered to DMZ and not Warzone. They wanted to reach out. They wanted to be competitive in different markets. I understand that completely, but it's hard to keep something alive if you put your focus to something else. It's like anything you do in life. If you are determined and dedicated to one thing and it's working well for you, if you stop giving that attention and you go to something else, obviously that's going to diminish pretty rapidly. Gang, look, that's it for me. That's all I had to say. I just want to come up here and clear the air. I saw this tweet today and I thought to myself, this can be very big. So February 15th, be here. We will be here live. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the future. Look, if you're new to the channel, enjoy the content, man, hit that sub button, press that like button. Gang, I'm throwing in merch. We got merch now. I mentioned that at the front of the video, but Sammy, he plays with us a lot. His older brother John made a company called Fuel Injected Co. And he said, hey, let's do a collaboration. I got a few designs already. I want to sell some hoodies. So look, here's a little promo Sam made of it. If you want to go and get yourself some merch, I'm going to link that website in the description. Go cop a hoodie, go cop a shirt. You know the vibes. And if you do, hit me on Twitter or Instagram. Send me photos. I want to see you guys in the merch. That'd be a ton of fun, man. But look, I love you guys as always. Thank you. Catch you all tomorrow for another banger. Let's get it.